Hello, 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 everyone. A very good Thursday night to you all. As I have said, it is Thursday evening. It is 8:30. That can mean only one thing for all you lovely people on the YouTubes, on the Facebook, and on Speedworth TV. You are here to watch the online oval racing National Hot Rod Round 8, and it comes to you this week from a virtual Arena Essex. So we are back. This is round number 8. Who on earth would have thought at the beginning of the lockdown that we would have got this far into our little online oval racing hot rod series that we have? Arena Essex Raceway is our virtual destination this week, a place that I know and have visited many, many times. But we'll discuss that a little bit more in just a moment, because this week, unfortunately, Sarah can't be with us. I am joined, however, by a voice that you guys will all recognise by now, Mr. Dom Brock himself. How the devil are you this evening, Dom?
Very good, thank you. Good to be back. Another week. Arena Essex, interesting track this time round. Looking forward to seeing how the drivers get on.
So it's somewhere that I know that I've been quite a bit. I'd imagine you probably the same. I know you've got a bit of a penchant for the bangers. So many a firecracker and many a world final at Arena Essex. That's what it's predominantly known for, as the guys have picked out quite correctly, actually, in chat. Everyone's saying that they know it as a banger track rather than a hot rod track, which is very true. And everyone's interested to see what exactly happens.
I mean, yeah, it is predominantly known for its bangers. Obviously, Firecracker was one of the biggest meetings in National Bangers when it was at its peak in the sort of mid to early 2000s. Um, yeah, the PRI World Finals and team meetings, always renowned as some of the heaviest hitting meetings out there. But a lot of people forget that this was also widely used by rods and stock cars back in the day, thanks to the Rolling Thunder show. They always used to operate around this circuit and gave it some good use as well. And also, way back, I recall Briskers and famous drivers like Ricky Hunn coming from PRI and from Arena Essex. So it's certainly a track filled with heritage, sadly no longer with us, of course, but one which stays in our memories, and one that we have the pleasure of racing this evening.
Talking of way back, I did a little bit of reading up on it. I didn't realise it was originally a post and wire track until they and
Oh
that
yeah.
caused a few issues, and then they eventually put the Armco and obviously the catch fences and that in.
I still have some old race video coverage somewhere of when it was post and wire. It's very grainy, it must be said, but that was, Arena's starting point. It was the big pit in the ground with post and wires. Very little between the audiences and the cars on the track as well. But yeah, it got modernised. The Armco wall got put in, and obviously lots of little bits and pieces that Arena became well known for. Yeah, it's quite a wide circuit as well, I'd say. Best comparison I can make on the calendar is that this is probably similar to Ringwood, apart from the inside, of course. There's no easy escape road to dive down. If it's going to go wrong, you're going. I don't know if they've got tires on the shale like they would in real life, but usually it'll be far less grippy and far less forgiving, certainly.
Definitely. Definitely indeed. Let's have a quick look and see who we have on the Facebook. Roy, very good evening to you. That's Rapid Roy, one of our drivers who is in there. Dorothy McGrath is in this evening, saying evening all, looking forward to another great night of racing. Dorothy, it's good to have you as always. Johnny McCoy is obviously reared up and ready to go. And yeah, we've got lots of comments about Arena Essex being a banger track. Jay Austin's in. Unfortunately, the same as we had last week. Jay is not going to be in as our admin. Real world and work commitments have got in the way of him doing that. So it's going to be Tads who's going to be running the meetings. I can hear him in my right hand ear now. He's running that, and so yeah, we're looking forward to it. I think it went quite well with him last week. But Jay says hello, as does Erica
Yeah,
Van Tonda from South Africa. So always a good following that we have from the South African contingent.
probably a relation to Glenn there. I could just see on the YouTube Jay also making his presence known. Snoopy, one of our drivers as well. Sarah's favourite. Good shout out to him. He's on the YouTubes as well, and also we've got someone called Man of Sand saying hello, and I'll give you a shout out as well, seeing as you've been so nice enough to comment.
Man of Sand, someone that I know from the Twitch fraternity there. So evening, Man of Sand. I hope you are well. So Dom, no Sarah. So I'll leave you to run all the grids yourself this evening. You get a little bit of limelight to run through the grids all by your lonesome.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lonely show tonight in that sense, but yeah, I've got all the grids. 5 heats this evening, so we are 1 down on our usual 6. We haven't been able to get the full numbers that we had seen in previous weeks. So yeah, 5 heats this evening as opposed to the normal 6. We also have the final B and the final A later on. So first of all, are you ready, Gav, for the
Yeah,
heats?
let's roll the
I'll say,
heats.
I say. So, for the first heat of the night, we have on pole Glenn Van Tonder in 62 number car, I think. Just having a check. Yep, he's in the 62 number Tigra. Then alongside him, we have Sean Taylor. Still here, still trying his best. He got a point the other week, I think it was, but he's ever committed. We also then have Jake Devlin in the Jake Devlin 21, not in a 21 numbered car, annoyingly. And rounding out the whites, we've got Crasher Chrome, Tommy Chrome. For the yellow graders, we have Scotty 78. Following him, we have Donovan Forster 73. And rounding out the yellows, we have Johnny McCoy. So only 3 yellows running this time. With the blues, we have Ben Keneally, followed by Dara Walsh, Johnny Hammond, and then David Ryan. For the reds, Ryan Woolsey in the 940. Jason Q, Ronan O'Brien, and then Wayne Woolsey, so 2 Woolseys racing in the red grades this race. And then the superstar graders, consisting of Ricky Slater, Noel McFerrin, the championship leader, Sean Jacklin, and Adam Cochran, winner from 2 weeks ago.
So it's going to be an interesting heat number 1. We've got some fairly big names in there that we've always come to expect a few fireworks from. We've got the likes of Niall McFerrin. Adam Cochran's been very fast over the past couple of weeks. Who is going to be your man to look out for?
Well, this obviously, that's a star-studded superstar lineup. Obviously, McFerrin, Jacklin, and Cochran have been the predominantly the ones we've seen coming through of late. Ricky Slater's been a little off the pace, I'd say. No disrespect to him. Got a lot of love for Ricky, especially with his Speedworth TV support on the back of his car. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, it's McFerrin, Jacklin, and Cochran are the ones to watch from the superstar graders. I think the red graders also can't be written off with this one. Both the Woolseys, Ronan O'Brien and Jason Q. If I had to pick one of them, though, it's going to be a difficult one. There's a lot of good drivers on this first race, actually. I'm going to go for. I always seem to curse him when I go for him, but I'm going to go for Ronan O'Brien in the 715 Peugeot.
Nice.
Hopefully he does well this time. See what we think.
He's been getting some consistent results, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does. As Dom very rightly said, we've got a bit of almost a star-studded heat, if you want. We've noticed this week round, we've actually got quite a lot of the drivers who've done, I'd say, probably 2 or 3 heats with us. So hopefully, as much as everyone's been commenting that they are interested to see whether or not it's going to turn into a banger meeting, I'm hoping it's actually going to be a very quick and very close meeting tonight. And just looking over at the Facebook, Sarah's just put in. She put, "So sorry I'm not with you all this evening. Wishing everyone a great evening." Sarah, no problem at all. Yeah, we'll catch you next week. I'll no doubt speak to you before then at some point. And yeah, we're definitely missing having you here with us. But
Indeed.
the show must go on, as was said by a very famous band back in the 80s, 90s. When was Show Must Go On by Queen?
90s.
It's
That
got,
is 91 from Innuendo.
there we go. Done with his musical knowledge. Now I can hear Tads is just he's just getting ready and lining everybody up. So it shouldn't be very much longer, and we should be able to have a look and see what everyone is up to. See, he's flicking through the various sessions. Do you know what? I'm gonna say, let's wait and see what that man who's just flashing up on the screen there does. Sean Taylor. He's not had much luck. Let's hope that now he's on the front row. Let's see if he can get some of the points that he's been, I think, probably quite desperately looking for over the past few weeks. He was desperately unlucky last week.
Yeah, I think he got the 10th position, so he got a point in one of the races, and there were celebrations online. I recall we picked up on them after the meeting had finished, that Sean was scoring some points last. Yeah, he's unfortunately moved down to white grade, but I think this is as good a chance as any for him to start picking up some points and get some consistency going. Yeah, he did have some bad luck last week amongst the around the points finish, but hats off to him for sticking around and remaining. I know that there are a few drivers who would have been disheartened by the results he'd have been getting, but Sean Taylor, if I had to give an effort award or for someone who has stuck it out, he'd be getting it, because he has never failed to turn up and is always giving it his all, even if he's struggling sometimes. Yeah, hats off to him.
Yeah, definitely. I'm laughing. I'm also seeing some of the in-game chat, which is going on from the guys in server. A few of them are finding it slightly funny that we've just described Heat 1 as star-studded. I can see that Ryan Woolsey has found that quite amusing. That's how we've decided to describe Heat 1. I think he's quite enjoying that. And on Facebook there is a huge amount of support and people saying that they are missing Sarah. And looking forward to her coming back. I think at some point, Don, when you read out the grids, you are going to have to tell us about what riders are in the various events. Just as a little hat tip.
I was going to slip it in without anyone noticing, but you've kind of ruined my surprise there. I was going to see if I could do it, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I can do it when you don't least expect it now.
You'll try and catch us all off guard. So let's have a look. We're going to see if I can jump over to the live action and see if we can start seeing some things happening on the grid. Yeah, we're starting to get some cars come out on grid and form up now. There's an annoying little box which I cannot get rid of in the bottom corner of the screen. So I will apologise for that one, but let's jump over so you guys can all see what is happening on the track right now. So everyone is all lining up. There's Sean Taylor, and that looks like Glenn Van Tonder that we can see here. We've got some quite nice cameras actually. If I pan round and try and see some of the other cars, you'll see some of the camera angles that we've got. We have got some quite nice wide shots, which should be pretty good this week for catching some good action on the racing. Obviously, we'll try and have some of the onboards that we usually do.
Just to point out, be the nerd that I am, I think all three camera angles that will be shown tonight, maybe a few more, I'm not sure, I haven't seen them all yet, but three of these camera angles I think will all be real life placements. This one is certainly where Impact Videos used to camp out on the turn 3. There should be one from the Tavern building, I hope. This one's not real, unfortunately, but the home straight one is certainly where Race Video used to pitch up as well. So, yeah, you always used to get a good wide view of this track, and it's very good viewing for the fans. Certainly remember many a time sat on that bank, enjoying the action and really not having any issue seeing what was going on because of the wide view and spectator view that you could get here.
So here we go. They are heading around to the line now. Let's bring in some engine noise for all the people at home as we get ready to go racing heat number 1 here at Arena Essex, round 8. And inching forward. You'll soon know when they're getting ready to go. We'll hear the engine notes climb.
Just rolling into the slots. I see the superstars now lining up, so I think Ronan O'Brien a little bit off kilter there by the looks of things. Got to inch forward there, Ronan.
Just tucked into position. And away they go.
And a good start from the leading pack. Glenn Van Tonder's sitting up the inside, so he's going to have the advantage, but a little bit sideways on exit, and Sean Taylor's trying to go around the outside.
That's an interesting line.
Oh dear, it hasn't paid off sadly, and Sean is in the wall. Scotty 78's taken up the lead, but Glenn Van Tonder is still holding the second place. Needs to hug that inside a little bit more if he's to retain it. I think the charging pack will easily get him, and oh, we've got a car on the side.
Oh, that's Darragh Walsh.
I didn't see who, but they've there's the problem with this inside curb at Arena Essex, the lip that you can get. You can ramp the cars quite easily onto two wheels here and roll over. And yeah, Darragh Walsh there definitely suffering and losing positions. I didn't see how far back, but he's certainly not in the top 10 anymore.
Look at this, up to second already. That's Johnny Hammond in the 50 car, doing very nicely for himself. And we have Ryan Woolsey as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan has made some progress, as has Ricky Slater and Niall McFerrin. Huey's there in 6th as well, Ronan O'Brien in 7th. So some of the bigger names have already made their way up and fighting hard to see if they can get into that into those top spots.
Sean Jacklin looks like the top of the superstars that I can see. He's in 9th spot at the moment. You can see this little pack that's formed. Oh no, I take that back actually. That was completely wrong. What am I on about?
Slater.
Ricky Slater and Niall McFerrin in 4th and 5th, and you can see them at the back of this pack, which is trying to hunt down Johnny Hammond now, and it's led by Ryan Woolsey. You've got Ryan Woolsey, Ricky Slater, and then behind him Niall McFerrin in that instantly recognisable red 206.
Scotty 78, it has to be said, has got a nice little gap there. I think that's the right car that I'm looking at, just to the furthest left of shot down the road. I might be looking at a lapper here, but
no, that is Scotty 78 in the blue car, and that's Ryan Woolsey that was up on two wheels there, exactly the same as you said before. I think he clipped the inside curb.
Yeah, if you hit it mid corner, it pushes you wide and it will shuffle you aside on the track. It gives up the inside line, but if you hit it on the entrance, then you're pretty much doomed. Another car spinning in the background there. Didn't see who that was, but I think that was Cochrane. He's just slipping down the order now. He's just down to 9th, I think it is. Lap
12 of 15. There's a lot of smoke as we come over the start-finish line. That's Johnny Hammond rejoining there. I did just see a message down at the bottom saying that Sean Taylor has retired.
Disappointment for Sean, but I'm sure he'll be back, no doubt about that.
So, Scotty 78 is your guy leading the way on lap 14. But Ricky Slater's not a million miles behind.
We're going to have one lap to go. One lap board showing, Sharon, as Rob Porter would say.
Here we go. Ricky Slater's surely going to have a try if he can.
Oh,
tries to tuck it in there. It's going to be a run down to the start-finish line. Not
Slater's
quite. How close is that? 0.2 of a second there at the end separated Scotty and Ricky Slater. Noel Ferron taking 3rd, Huey in 4th, Ronan O'Brien in 5th, Sean Jacklin 6th, Adam Cochrane in 7th place, Ryan Woolsey in 8th, Johnny McCoy in 9th, and Glenn Van Tonder from the front row managing to pick up 10th place that time around.
10th place in the last points paying spot. I think there'll be some very pleased people with that one. Scotty 78 with a good win, very close one though. Ricky Slater was not holding back on that front.
No, definitely.
And Noel Ferron also, they both cut through the pack. Both did a very good job there of hunting down the leading, the lower graded drivers. But yeah, it's a good start, and that's a promising start, I would say, to tonight's action.
Definitely, we've seen a few people there who were caught out by that inside curbing, which is well, I say it's curbing. It's more wall on the inside if you actually look at it on the track.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive. Like you can't definitely. It's not like Vauxhall where there is a sort of lip or a sort of slope that you can drive onto it, I should say. This is literally a big fall off. So it goes from high shale to low track. So there's no way you can get onto that from the circuit. You are just going to clout the inside concrete, and that's going to potentially play its part in tonight. We've already seen it cause a few major incidents in that one, but it could be vital when it comes to cars defending the inside line. You clip it, like I say, and it will shoot you wide, and it could cause chaos. So it could be the deciding factor in some of these races.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how the guys all deal with it. I can put up the confirmed results, the top 10 for heat number 1 this evening, if I can find the right button to press. There it is. Scotty 78, that's Scott Kendall in first place. Ricky Slater picked up second. Noel McFerrin in third. That's going to be some valuable championship points for those guys. Jason Q in fourth place, also picking up some good points there. Ronan O'Brien in fifth. That's a very good result for the young man there. Sean Jacklin in sixth. Adam Cochran in seventh. Ryan Woolsey, who I've obviously taken all of his names, bless him. So we've got Ryan Gary Norman Woolsey in 8th, Johnny McCoy in 9th, and Glenn Van Tonda rounding out your top 10 for heat number 1. Any surprises? I can't see any that I'm particularly going to shout out.
No, that's quite a solid pack, and like we said, the guys may have joked in server, but I think that was quite a star-studded lineup. It was a good all-round race, some clean racing, some moments of drama, but nothing that caused disruption amongst the pack. Well-deserved win from Scott Kendall there. Ricky Slater hunting him down to the very last, but yeah, managed to hold him off in the end.
Definitely. So he's done very well. 0.2 seconds separated Scott Kendall from Ricky Slater as those guys came over the line. So I think that, if not our closest, is definitely up there with our closest finishes. I remember seeing a 0.3 of a second before, but yeah, there we go. Down to 0.2 of a second. It's not going to be long, and we'll end up with some of these guys, and on some of the quicker tracks, they will probably end up crossing over the line nigh on side by side. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, who knows? We've had some pretty close finishes, like you say. That wasn't a side-by-side one. That was a line astern finish, and that was 0.2. So who knows what the future races could hold. This track is probably going to be a good one for close racing tonight, at least from that early heat. Aldershot next week. Well, we'll have to wait and see. A few drivers dreading that one, and personally, I'm not overly convinced on the size of the circuit and the way it will work. And the last week that we've got set on the calendar at the moment is Buxton. That is a longer circuit, but quite a narrow one. So, again, who knows? We could get some close racing there. There's a long run down the straight, and they'll be vying for first, I'm sure.
So, a lot of support for Ricky in the 102 car. Also, some support even. If I can get my words out for QE that I can see there as well. So, but yeah, let's take a peek away from the Facebook, and I will let you introduce our riders that we're going to have in heat number 2.
Our riders, of course. We have for the white graders, Bomber 19. I believe that's Neil Grattan for on the pole for heat 2. Following him, we've got Blair Robertson 835, and then we have Danny Van Ruin in the 47 car. Lucas 24 will follow them up. For the yellow graders, we have Jordan Vowinkle 122, and then Jason Loosemore in the the SA15 car. I better get that right. SA very important on his car. Alan Christie 959. We've seen him week in, week out in that Saxo, still fighting for us in the yellow grades, and then alongside him, Volks 46. For the blue graders, we have Ted McGrath. He put in some good performances last week and has definitely earned that blue grade. Rapid Roy 36, one who's been in the chat on Facebook and YouTube. Good luck to you this evening. Wilkes 111 follows him, and then Finley QE Jr. 74 rounding out the blues. Then for the Reds, we have Owen Burke 656, followed by Turner 447. That is Adam Turner, I think.
It is.
Thank you. Ashley Shaw 32, and then rounding out the Reds, we have the ever-present Yannick Klansky. He's one of the earliest joiners from this league and is still turning up to this day. I think he had the week out last week, but still putting in all the effort. Rounding out the grid, we have the superstar graders. At the front of that pack, we have Simon Kennedy, followed by Charlie Elwood, 46. Carl Waller-Barrett coming off the dominance of last week. Absolutely fantastic drive. Did very well. And then Michael Barber rounding out the grid, who was our interviewee last week and has subsequently, since our interview, and rather worryingly, I haven't asked him personally yet, but he's put his 2-litre hot rod up for sale, so I have to ask him and find out what's going on there.
So it's not a bad selection that we've got in Heat 2. I think all of the heats I've seen so far are going to look pretty interesting. Have you got any personal favourites for Heat number 2? Sarah quite liked our little riders comment, by the way, in Facebook. We've got lots of laughing faces for that one.
Second heat. Blair Robertson. I think it was only 2 or 3 weeks ago. He had the domination. He's back down to white grade, I think, after performances last week. I would see him as one of the favourites. He's obviously second on the grid, so he's got to get round the outside of Neil Grattan. But Blair Robertson will certainly be one to watch. Looking further back, Ted McGrath's been on a good run of form. Finley Q, can't write him off. He's been proven to be a very dramatic racer in the times that he's been racing. Red Graders, got some good drivers there. Superstars, Carl Waller-Barrett after last week that was simply a stunning drive. So look forward to seeing how he does. And me old Macca, Michael Barber, let's see how he does. Always consistent, like I said. Very open interview last week where he said he doesn't really put into practice, but he's always pulling out the good results. So look forward to seeing how he does as well.
I have to say, in Facebook, I mean, I've just panned it over so that we've got the live action on what is happening. The first time I think I've seen this in the Facebook chat, Ronan O'Brien apologising to you, Dom, for obviously not making up as much ground as you were expecting to. He said, "Sorry, Dom, I haven't done much practice this week."
Oh, I don't mind. I mean, it's still a 5th place position. It's respectable, and that's good points on the board that will most certainly. That's good. Already a good start to get you in the A final. So
here we go. We're underway for heat number 2. Sorry to cut into you there.
No, I didn't realise. So like we said at the front, Blair Robertson has taken the lead. I think that was, we didn't see them on the start, but the front row certainly getting away, and Blair obviously going around the outside, following.
Quite know what was happening in that little pack there. There's a pack of very slow moving cars. That looks like Matt Fawkes, who's up on the wall on the inside. Ashley Shaw has got going.
Matt Fawkes it looks to be stranded, actually. Rear wheels are off the ground. The rest of the car is beached on the inside.
Oh,
another
and
big
that's
hit
Jason
there.
Loosemore.
Somersaulting into the wall. I didn't see who was somersaulting. I'm not sure if it was Loosemore. I think Loosemore was the one that got caught up. Blair Robertson's staying out of the trouble and is now pulling a big lead. Alan Christie in the 2nd place position, and Ted McGrath is in 3rd. More contact going on the corners.
I think that was Loosemore that was still on the track there. I can hear the admins. I think they're basically telling him to disconnect so that he gets out of the way of the other drivers who are coming round.
Not there anymore, so whatever he's done, he's out the way now. Ashley Shaw definitely got caught up in those early, in the early flourishes. Just having a look, see who else has come through the pack. Carl Waller-Barrett and Yannick Kalansky, other big movers, 5th and 6th there. Finley Q in 7th, Charlie Elwood in 8th, Michael Barber 9th, Rapid Roy in 10th. So some big names have made their way through. Yeah,
that's who we're looking at now at the moment. That's it's obviously Michael Barber in the centre of your screen. You can see young Finley Q. Not doing bad, 8th place, and he's moved up the grade, so he's been starting further back, doing very well for himself. Charlie Elwood, who wasn't racing last week but has come back. And here we go, Carl Waller-Barrett, Yannick Kalansky. These are definitely going to be guys to watch, although Blair Robertson, as you very rightly said, Dom, as we come around to start lap 12, 2.5 second lead.
Yeah, that looks to be unassailable. I think the battle is going to be for second. Alan Christie at the front of this pack, on left of screen, you can see that he's got some cars around him.
And not only that, he's got that's Adam Turner that's just gone up the inside of him there and pushed his way up to second place.
Good move there, clean move as well. Christie, drifting his way around the corner, clipping the inside.
Come on, Alan. Love to see Alan. He's been here week in, week out. I'd love to see Alan Christie pick up a podium.
Oh, you spoke too soon. Waller-Barrett has gone through on the back straight, and Carl has taken up the third. Kalansky might still go through as well, but we've got not far to run. This is Blair Robertson, and look at the lead. No one around him, clean air. Last lap, and well, that's Turner that we're now looking at.
That's up behind Owen Burke. Oh, Waller-Barrett.
Blair Robertson.
Alan Christie was holding off Yannick Kalansky. It's going to be... Oh, look at that, Charlie Elwood up the inside. He's going to take both of them. No, he's not.
Oh, no, Christie's holding it.
Alan Christie held on there. That was an interesting one. Charlie Elwood managing to get the better of Yannick Kalansky, though. So Blair Robertson in first, Turner in second, Carl Waller-Barrett in third, Alan Christie picking up fourth place in the end there. Charlie Elwood with that charge coming out of the last corner. That was fantastic to watch. And
good stuff.
Yeah, managing to get past Yannick Kalansky.
Christie, Elwood, and Kalansky there. Very good.
Yeah, Finley Q has done all right for himself. He is once again managed to get himself inside the top 10. We'll come off of that screen there. That's just as the guys are sorting themselves out. There's been some pretty close racing, actually. The only real issue that we seem to be having so far is that inside curb, causing a few problems.
Yeah, it's certainly a destructive one in the bangers. Getting crushed up against that has certainly ruined a few drivers' days. Yeah, it looks like it's spoiling a few hot rodders' days as well. That time we saw something that I wasn't expecting to see. I think it was Fawkes that you mentioned, who had the rear wheels off the ground. He obviously slid backwards, and was the rear wheels were just floating in midair on the inside of the corner, whereas the front of the car was just beached on the shale. So that's something I wasn't expecting to see. But that is another occupational hazard of having the inside speedway track higher than the tarmac outside. Yeah,
definitely. It's an interesting one. I don't think that would happen so much in real life, but it's obviously happened there in the virtual version that we have had. And in that situation, the admins will just be on these guys to try and get them out of the server and out of the other driver's way as quickly as they can, just so that they can carry on racing unimpeded. Well, we saw one time there, I think, where I've forgotten who it was now. Jason Loosemore got caught up with a car that was stranded, and you can see that just ends up in a bit of a pinball. Yeah.
It was the somersaulting Mini, the white and purple Mini. Don't know what happened there, but Loosemore definitely got caught up in it, and it cost him. And I think he did actually have to disconnect in the end. I didn't see him running around in the lower pack towards the end of that race, so it definitely cost him. He's been on a good run of form since he joined. Very exciting driver to watch. Just unfortunate this time that he's not been able to score and has had some issues. Best of luck to him in his next heat. I'm sure he'll be able to get some points on the board, but I don't know whether it will be enough to get into a final, or certainly the A final, with a non-finish on the first heat.
So, we'll just quickly recap the results of heat number 2. Blair Robertson, your victor that time round. Adam Turner picking up second. Carl Waller-Barrett with a very solid third place. Alan Christie managing to keep hold of fourth place from an attacking Charlie Elwood. who finishes in 5th. Yannick Kalansky was in that little pack that they had there, picks up 6th place. Young Finley Q in 7th. Michael Barber in 8th, Roy Anderson in 9th, and Ted McGrath rounds out the top 10 that we had for heat number 2. Advancing through them quite quickly this evening, actually.
Yeah, and considering we've only got 5 heats as well, I think we might be done a little earlier than expected this evening.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good heat again, but I still think that the first one was a little bit better. That was a good one, a good benchmark from our star-studded lineup, as we said again.
Well, we can only carry on with the heats and see what happens. I will let you do your thing, Dom, and let's just give you the grid loading screen that you so love.
Thank you very much, Gav. So, for Heat 3, we have our white graders. On the pole, we have Martin Menchie's in the 91 car. Following him, we've got Lewis Pine in the 332. Then, on the second row, we have Glenn Van Tonder, 62, the pole sitter from Heat 1, and Sean Taylor, the second place man from Heat 1. In the yellow graders, we have Snoopy, Sarah's favourite. Shout out to Sarah. John Kirkland in the 844. And Scotty 78 rounding out the yellow graders, obviously Heat 1 winner there. With the blue graders, we have Ben Keneally 210. Following him, we have Darragh Walsh. And then we have Nathan Houghton 435. And Jones Racing 4, and that is Ollie Jones. We did have discussion about that last week. We're still a bit confused, but we believe it to be Ollie Jones. For the red graders, we have Potter 79. That is Dan Potter. We've then got Craig Durrant 84 in that mini, Ryan Woolsey 940, and then Jason Q 174 rounding out the reds. Our superstars for this third heat is Ricky Slater 102, Niall McFerrin 910, Stuart 931, and that is then rounding out the superstars. We have Aaron McGrath in the 57 car.
Aaron having obviously had some fairly decent and consistent results up in the superstars. I can imagine Dorothy would have been very happy with that, seeing Aaron up there in the superstar grade. She says quite comically, some cars must have had Red Bull and thought they could fly in that race.
Yeah, definitely some like ramp rollover competition maybe, but fingers crossed that we don't see too much more of that this evening. That was, like I said, the inside lip's going to cause some problems, but I think drivers will become accustomed to it as they do a few more laps.
So yeah, going back over some of the comments, even through from the last race, Donald Rosier, Team Q all the way. Donovan Vorster said, "Let's go Adam Turner" in the 447. So yeah, support from the drivers for each other, which is always good to see.
Just looking, I was going to say, just to interject, I've got a few on YouTube. Got Aaron McGrath saying hi on there. We had one driver, Jordan Lemon, was saying, I think it was a few heats ago now, but he was saying Tommy Chrome for the win. And he's also asked where we can find the Michael Barber interview. Now, I think that's on last week's show. I think it will be somewhere on this on Facebook. It will be on the YouTube channel, certainly. And it's also on Speedworth TV. We upload everything to the channel, and it's free to watch on all of those platforms. So give it a look. The Michael Barber interview was last week.
Yep, it'll definitely be available on all of those. And we can just see the guys are starting to get themselves into their positions. I've just heard Tads call them round for everyone to move up. See Craig Durrant just in the or just off the middle of the screen there in that NHS supporting mini. As we said, one of the pretty much the only mini that I can think of off the top of my head that we've got running in this series. It's always nice to see. And
we had, I don't know who it was in the last heat who was running one, but it was a white and purple one there, I'm sure. Maybe I mistook it for a Saxo.
It was.
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and they are off.
Very good start from Pine there. That's a good getaway, but Menchie's is up the inside and has retaken that lead.
Glenn Van Tonder is definitely running very close to those inside walls. Look at that from Scott Kendall in the 78 car. Obviously, we saw him doing very well in the first heat, and he's not doing too bad for himself there.
Stacking up behind Van Tonder. He's looking a little bit. Oh
Darrell
dear, we've got
Walsh
to
who
spin
goes
on the
round.
inside.
Peter McCrate and I think Ollie Jones, or possibly Carl Jones, depending on which one it is, make the most of that spinner. And look behind this pack. What car can we see there already?
The championship leader has made his way through already. Ryan Woolsey is following him. And we've got also Ben Keneally and Dan Potter there as well. But McFerrin is looking to get more points on the board. Certainly, well, I don't think he needs them, but it's just bolstering that gap that he's got at the moment. And he's going to come up to Glenn Van Tonder now, who I was going to say is looking a little bit fragile on the corners. If you gave him a nudge, I'm sure he'd go round.
Here we go. Here comes our race leader, Martin Mines. He's got Scotty Kendall right up behind him in that 78 car, but he's managing to hold on so far. It would be nice to see Martin come away with some decent points for the South African contingent.
Here they come again. That Pro T Corsa. Scotty 78 is going up the inside. That is looking close at the front. And they're nearly side by side as you come out the corner. They are down the straight, and Scotty 78 has taken the lead again.
Martin's going to have another look back up the inside, though. We're riding on board with whichever Jones it is that's driving.
Oh, and Menchie's has got through again.
He's got back, and now Jones is going to have a look up the inside of Scott Kendall. This is very close up the front. This is
oh no!
Little tap there.
Unfortunate spin. And Kendall's going to lose
Scott's
out.
I think he's collected Niall McFerrin. I could be wrong. We're going to have to look back. I think in that spin... Oh, no, Niall McFerrin's still going. I don't know who it was. I thought for a second there that in that spin...
I was going to say, I think McFerrin was caught at some point because Woolsey was behind, you have to bear in mind. I think he's just been able to escape and get going again. QE now a lot closer to him. Yeah. Same with Aaron McGrath. But that has put a spanner in the works for a few people's races, none more so than Scott Kendall.
I think that's Ashley Shaw that was out by the wall there. But yeah, Niall McFerrin is moving and shaking. Aaron McGrath is doing very nice for himself at seventh place that he's picked up there. So he's obviously quite successfully managing to move through the grid with the rest of the superstars.
Just checking on the gaps between the leaders. Menchie's still with the lead as he's on the last lap now. Ryan Woolsey's now up to P2, and Ollie Jones is in third. This looks like it's Menchie's race, though. He's not going to make any mistake there.
Not by much, because that's Ryan Woolsey, who was... I tell you what, if that had been another lap going, then that would have been... well, I mean, you can see, I'm guessing Martin's probably backed out here, but I tell you what, if that had been going at full race pace with those back markers in front, that would have been a very interesting finish.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan Woolsey was on a late race charge there, got past Ollie Jones. He was, he would have certainly got through, I think, had there been a few more laps. But Menchie's doing a good job on holding him off. Certainly put in a good fight against Scott Kendall. Just unfortunate that Scott this time bore the brunt of an incident and just wasn't able to finish as high up as he did in the first heat.
Little donuts there that we saw, which I think Martin was more than entitled to do. That's a good victory to him, and it's nice to see a different name up at the top step of the podium. First time we have seen Martin there.
I was going to say, I think that's his first win. That was a good drive, actually, a very clean drive from him. I say that he managed to ride the storm in that one. There was certainly some big pressure behind him, but yeah, it was a difficult race, and well done to him for his first win in the league.
Yeah, definitely. There's, I mean, I think the spin of young Scotty Kendall probably actually slowed a few people down, which probably helped him pull away a little bit, and it definitely influenced the result at the end of that race. So yeah, but we can't take it away from him. He's managed to keep it clean. He's managed to keep out of trouble, and he has managed to come home with a victory at the end of the day.
Yeah, good stuff. unlucky for Ollie Jones there. He looked like he was in for a certain second place. There might be some talk about the incident. It was a slight nudge with Scott Kendall. I'm not sure whether there was any malice, and I think it was just varying speeds in the mid corner. But he looked like he was in for a certain second, but the hard charging Ryan Woolsey denying him that position as well.
So we have the confirmed results, which has come through from the admin team. Let's throw them up so that we can have a look through them. There we go. Martin Whitey's taking first place. We'll have to apologise if we're butchering the pronunciation of his surname, by the way. And Ryan Woolsey picking up second there. Ollie Jones in third, Niall McFerrin in fourth, Stuart Hammond in fifth. QE managed to get himself up to sixth place, and that's also a very good result for Aaron McGrath, who was starting in with the Superstars, got himself up to seventh. Darren Potter in eighth, Darrell Walsh in ninth, and Craig Darren, our friend in the mini, rounding out your top 10 for that heat. I think that's the biggest crash that we've had so far this evening. It's been pretty clean otherwise.
Yeah, it has been. Just unfortunate that so many cars got caught up in that heat. But yeah, like we said at the start of the stream, Arena Essex isn't really known for its sort of racing, even though I think it's actually probably one of the more suited tracks for the hot rods. Yeah, just unfortunate, but I'm sure as we get later on in the night when we go to the finals, I'm sure that'll all go away. I expect it to dissipate, but who knows? We'll wait and see.
So we've got a few congratulations in there for Aaron, managing to work his way up to seventh. Martin, I think we're pronouncing his surname right. Either that, or he's just so excited by the fact that he just got that victory that he doesn't really care. So he's also commenting in on the Facebook. It's great to see some of the drivers in there. And
I would like to
chatting away.
I was going to say, sorry, Gav. I would like to apologise. It's Darren Potter, not Dan Potter, as I was saying in those last races. So apologies for that one.
So we'll, do you know what? Let's carry on. We might as well try and butcher some more names, as it seems only we managed to do. we've managed to do okay a lot of the time, but there's been a few of them. Poor Owen Burke, I remember being one of them that we
try our best. We get some interesting ones come through. Certainly, with some of the foreign contingent, we have to be careful with how we pronounce. Like Martin Menchie's, I have a slight inkling that we might be pronouncing something wrong, but it's enough right that we're not getting pulled up on it. But I don't know. Maybe we're just getting lucky on that front.
All right. Well, I will let you go through and let's butcher some more names. We are going for the grids for heat number 5, I believe. Or is this 4? 4. There we are. I'm getting ahead of myself. Heat 4. It's all yours, Dom.
Cool. I only got 5 heats, remember, so this is the 4th out of the 5 before we go into the finals. At the front of the grid for Heat 4 in the white grades, we have Jake Devlin. Following him, we have Tommy Chrome, that's Crasher Chrome. Bomber 19, that is Neil Grattan in the 3rd place position, followed by Blair Robertson in 4th. Then for the yellow graders, just let that catch up slightly. We have Jordan Vowinkle in the 122. Following him, we have Jason Loosemore in the SA15 car. Then we've got Donovan Vorster there in the 73, and rounding out the yellows, Johnny McCoy. For the blue graders, we have Ted McGrath. Alongside him, Rapid Roy 36. Johnny Hammond 50 is on the next row, and David Ryan 30 is rounding out the blues. For our red graders, we have Owen Burke 656 at the front, Turner 447, that's Adam Turner. Following him, we've got Ronan O'Brien 715, and Wayne Woolsey 950 rounding out the reds. For the superstars, Simon Kennedy, who I think we don't really give enough of a shout out to. He's one of the others who has been here from the start. Charlie Elwood 46 is behind him. Sean Jacklin, again another one who is always here, always committed to the cause, doing very well for himself as well. And then rounding out, we have the recent star of the show, Adam Cochrane, with his win 2 weeks ago. Very good to see him still here, and hopefully still pulling in the success as he goes along.
I tell you what, I think, all right, okay, they may have laughed at us for calling heat number one star-studded. I tell you what, these have been some really strong heats that we've had this week. I don't know if it's because we've got a field of cars and these guys now have all been racing together. I think, as we said, the majority of them have probably done a good 2 or 3 heats. I would struggle, I think, in a lot of these races to pick between. Normally you can normally have a fairly good idea of who you think is going to make some good moves. There's a fair few drivers that I could pick in near enough every single heat that I think is in with a really good shot of getting on the podium.
Yeah, I mean this heat again is pretty close to Heat One in regards to its star-studded nature. I mean, there's a lot of good talent on the grid. Blair Robertson again in the white graders. Jason Loosemore has been performing good when he's been finishing, unfortunately, in that last heat. Ted McGrath, he's been on a good run of form lately and really been showing his pace. Johnny Hammond, again, another big name out there who has been doing well. Owen Burke got caught up in previous race, but is out for vengeance. Ronan O'Brien might not have done the practice this week, but still came through to 5th in his first one. Wolsey as well. We don't really need to give them much introduction. Their name is synonymous with hot rods, and even on this game, they're still pulling in good performances. And all of the superstars, Simon Kennedy, Charlie Elwood, Sean Jacklin, and Adam Cochran, they've all been so good over the last couple of weeks. It's almost impossible to do, or to predict a winner. The talent is so close. It's unreal at the moment.
So in the middle of the screen at the moment, we're looking at a guy who has also been fairly consistent. We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks that I can remember. David Ryan in that 30 car that you can just see in the middle of the screen now. He's always one to keep a lookout for. It looks like Johnny Hammond that's just inside him in one of the Wolsey painted cars. And 3, 2, 1, they are off.
Good start from the insiders there. I noticed that David Ryan and Rapid Royce were getting left behind, but we've got Jason Loosemore in the fence again. Unfortunate for him, but he's going to get going. It's not a DNF. He will rejoin at the back of the pack.
Not having much luck this evening, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. And just looking at the front, Blair Robertson again with the lead, a 1.5 second lead. So I think we've got a gap. There's one car that's been lapped, and oh no, it's David Ryan round at the last turn.
There we go. That's the commentator's curse right there.
You couldn't have picked it any better in that sense if you were going to curse someone.
Charlie Elwood, you can see at the moment, already made his way up to 9th. Wayne Wolsey in front of him, and Adam Cochran. These guys are all fast, and this is a fast track. So let's see what these guys can achieve. Look a little bit further up the grid, and there is Adam Turner in that 447 car. Now he's got
Sorry, go on.
No, shout away, my friend.
I was going to say shout out to Donovan Vorster in second. He is holding a good consistent pace for the looks of things. It's a big gap to Blair Robertson. I think Robertson already got this one wrapped off and is on his way home already with the victory in this one. But Forster is certainly holding second, and Johnny Hammond in third, but drama in the back. See who that was who went round, but there was another car that just getting caught up as we watch Turner here.
That's Adam Cochran, who's trying to force his way through up the inside of Turner there. That's Ted McGrath that I think he's been tucked right in behind and has now managed to get up the inside of, and I think Adam Turner's going to try and do the same if he can. Just force his way up the inside of Ted McGrath.
It's Johnny McCoy actually in the fourth place that we're looking at here, battle with here. But yeah, as McCoy is holding station, Cochran forced his way up the inside. Oh no, sorry, you are right, it is McGrath. I am misreading our timing screens. Yeah, Turner having to hold station, whereas Adam Cochran bursting his way through. by hook or by crook. And we'll have to find out in the stewards' room what they think of that.
Johnny McCoy definitely one of the more recognisable cars. Although he's now coming under attack from Adam Cochran as well. As I said, very fast driver.
Cochran is certainly showing his consistency across all venues. He's been pacey at 3 weeks in a row now, and this is looking good for him this evening.
Johnny Hammond up in third, and let's have a look and see how Donovan Vorster's doing. He's doing very nicely for himself. The South Africans are having a very good evening. Lots of leckers in chat for the South Africans with Martin's victory. As we come round to finish lap 15, Blair Robertson, as we have seen before,
winning again by a dominant margin.
Yeah, managing to get out front and stay there. Donovan Vorster with a very well earned second place. Johnny Hammond in third. Adam Cochran from the Superstars has made his way up to fourth. Johnny McCoy in fifth. Wayne Woolsey in sixth. Adam Turner in the 447 car in seventh. Charlie Aylward in eighth. Sean Jacklin in ninth. And Owen Burke in his 656 car, rounding out your top 10 for heat number 4. I think this is definitely a night where we could see some pretty good. Well, we are seeing some pretty good results for the South Africans. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they then get to the final at the end of the night. Erica Van Tonda saying good luck to all South African drivers, and then she's saying great view, you can see all the cars. I must admit the guys who made this track for this game did very well actually with the camera positions. It's given us a nice wide angle that we can watch all the racing from, and that does make things a lot more interesting for us and for you guys at home. I'm just going to liaise with the admins, see if I can get the confirmed results for that heat. But yeah.
I'm pretty certain the top 3 was Blair Robertson, Donovan Vorster, and then Johnny Hammond. I can't see there being much dispute over that one. Robertson was clear by, I think, 4 seconds to Vorster in the end of that race, and just dominant performance from him, much like we saw a few weeks back when he dominated the heats but just didn't go on to win in the final. Donovan Vorster, a good run from him. Really impressed with that performance, and then Johnny Hammond in the third spot. Good ride from him as well.
Well, don't start calling it a ride. Sarah will get all excited again. She'll think that we're. That's what you tried to do. You said you were going to try and slip one in on the sly and catch me out, see if I was awake. I think I managed to just about catch that one.
Damn it! I hope Sarah heard it. That's all I care about. At least she can, feel the warmth that we're missing her. Really.
Yeah, definitely. It does feel a bit weird not having her in with us, but I have got the results. They are very much as you thought they would be. Dom, let's just go and do you know what? I'll let you take us through the results. You pretty much had them all bang on without me having to put anything up on screen.
So, the results for heat number 5. Blair Robertson took the win, a good gap, I think, as I say, around 4 seconds. Following him, we've got the South African Donovan Vorster. Then we got Johnny Hammond in third. Adam Cochran made his way up to 4th, another good performance from him. Following him, in the 5th place position, we've got Johnny McCoy. Then we've got 6th was Wayne Woolsey. 7th, Adam Turner. And then in 8th, we have Charlie Aylward. 9th was Sean Jacklin, and 10th was Owen Burke.
So that's heat number 4 done and dusted with. That means we move into our final heat for this evening. As we said, we're only running 5 heats tonight, and then final B and final A. And yeah, I'll let you take us through the grid of who we can expect to have racing for us in heat number 5.
So, 5th and final heat for this Arena Essex meeting tonight. At the front of the grid, we have
They are
Danny
slowly
Van
making their way up, I promise.
No problem. So at the front of the grid, we have Danny Van Ruin in the 47 car. Alongside him, we have Lucas 24. That's Lucas Hopster. Then on the second row, we have Martin Menches again, doing a good job tonight. And then Lewis Pine rounding out the whites. On the next row, we have Snoopy. That's Peter McCrate. John Kirkland in the 844 car beside him. Next row, we have Alan Christie, 959, in that red and black Saxo. Following him, alongside him is Fawkes 46. With the blue grades, Wilkes 111. Beside him is QE Junior, Finley Q. And then the next row, we have Nathan Houghton in the 435 car. And then the Jones Racing car, which we still don't know whether it's Ollie or not, but fingers crossed it is, because if not, we've been getting it wrong all this time. For the red graders, we have Darren Potter, make sure I get it right this time, in the 79, Craig Durran in the 84 Mini, Ashley Shaw 32 in the orange Peugeot, Janet Kalansky in the 193 car, and then for the superstar graders, we have the hard charging and very quick from last week, Carl Waller-Barrett, alongside him, Michael Barber, Stuart 931, and then the final position is Aaron McGrath.
So we were just mentioning her, and people are still asking, and and all the rest of it. It's even coming up in Facebook chat. Let's just have a quick look. Blair Robertson saying, "Where are you tonight, Sarah?" People obviously just don't like us as much as having Sarah in. Sarah saying it's quieter without me, and Jay saying, "Shall I ring you so you can commentate over the phone?" So I don't know what they're trying to say about the commentating that we're doing tonight. It's maybe we're just not good enough. We need Sarah back.
I mean, I know we're missing Sarah, but because we run a tight ship, I thought we're doing a reasonable job at least. I don't want to get the sack just because Sarah's not here.
Helmut Laumann saying, "Go Lucas," and yeah, someone who's got hold of the online oval racing Facebook page is telling Jay to get back to work. If he's not in with us, he needs to get himself back to work, obviously. So, have you got any favourites for this heat then?
Well, this final heat has got a wide variety of drivers in it. Martin Menchie's after that first heat win. I'm hoping it isn't a fluke and that he can go on and do the same. He's third on the grid this time, so fingers crossed he can put in some good times. Alan Christie, I'm hoping that he can remain up the order. He slipped down a little late on in that his first heat, but just a little bit of bad luck there. Fingers crossed he can do it this time. QE Junior, he's had an all right start to the evening. He was in the top 10, but I think there's more to come from him. Further back, there's a lot of talent spread around the red and superstars. I wouldn't like to say specifically who's going to win because there's just so much going around at the moment. Carl Waller-Barrett, though, has to be one to watch because of simply on his performances last week. He's just really shown himself to be one to watch.
Now, Lucas Hopster, who I think is running the Mini that we can see in the centre of the screen at the moment, that white and pink Mini. I just saw a brilliant moment there, which was and they've just restarted the.
I was just saying it might have something to do with Martin Menchie who's spectating this race. His car being inspected by the crowd, from what I could see there in that camera view.
That may have been why they redid that one. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, there was a quite brilliant moment there where they were obviously trying to line up, and Lucas Hopster had got himself beached up on the infield, and I watched either Ashley Shaw or Lewis Pine, one of the guys in their orange cars, then come up and basically just nudge him until the car fell back onto the track so that he could get himself into position. So the guys are obviously getting themselves into all sorts of trouble, even when they're just going around on the formation laps.
I mean, I really don't know how it happened on the formation lap. I can understand getting beached, possibly by spinning the car, going backwards over the shale in a race conditions, but you're not really going very fast on sort of coming to the grid. 30 miles per hour max, I could imagine. But
I'm not going to lie. I'm impressed, bearing in mind that, as we've said before, when we've done these events, I have to position a car so that we can actually view what's happening on track. I'm impressed that I've managed to navigate my way round, and not managed to flip the car over, so that these guys are trying to start a race with an inverted car in the middle of one of the corners. But yeah, we're back. We are looking at live action. They have got themselves, and that's how quick we can do the server resets and that now. So obviously, Tads and the admin team have become very au fait with how to get that all set up. They'll all be moving around and getting themselves into position. Of course, guys, ignore the fact that my name is showing in first place. I wish I was in first. I'm not racing.
Tad's in second as well. You're having a real close battle for this one.
Yeah, it's going well, and there we are. Everyone heading out around the track. There is Martin. He already has one race victory under his belt this evening. Let's see what he can do in this heat number 5 for this evening. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch. There's definitely a few people who could move through the field. It all depends, I think, on whether or not there are any incidents which slow those guys down. Have a quick little look and see what's happening on Facebook if these guys get themselves into position. John Lemon says Michael Barber for the win. Donald Rosier's Team Q again. Reese Thompson says hello. Hello, Reese. Duncan Welsh, how do I get to this? I.e., where do I download the templates and the skins and where to register? Duncan, once we get a little bit of a break after the end of this heat, I will take you through. But basically, across Facebook and YouTube and even online, just search for Online Oval Racing UK. You do that, and then you can sign up on our website that we've got. Get yourself registered, and on there it has all the information on the base game, which is R Factor, and then where you can pick up all the mods that you need to run in this series. Dorothy says since Aaron has been either a blue, red, or superstar since the start, he'll be a white. Can he be a white next week?
Who knows?
Not entirely sure that's how Jay's running things, but we can put in a request for you, Dorothy.
Just speaking of the white graders, we've got them lining up now. Minchie's in the 3rd place position in that Pro T Corsa. Ashley Shaw on his outside. We've got the 2 unmarked cars of Lucas Hopster and Danny 47 on the front row.
Danny Van Rooyen, I believe.
There we go. You could just forgot what the surname was. I was only looking in game.
Ready? Here we go.
Oh, and speaking of Danny Van Rooyen, he's just missed the start completely there by the looks of things.
Oh, and Martin's been spun.
Menchie's has gone round. That was contact with Snoopy, and he's trying to reverse through the centre of the track to avoid chaos. He's going to get going again, but he's going to be well out of the running this time.
Definitely not going to be in a similar kind of position as we saw him last time. As we ride on board with Aaron McGrath, that looked like Ashley Shaw. There's the Jones car on the inside. That's Carwella Barrett going round as well.
Deary me, there's a lot of big names falling foul early on this time. As we watch, as you say, from the McGrath car, looking forward to Craig Darren in that Mini, and hugging the inside line. McGrath, Darren slipping wide a little bit, and it's going to give him an opportunity as they come down the straight. Darren just defending and carrying enough speed on the outside. But at the front we have Lucas Hopster in the pink and white Mini. There he goes through the shot. Forks 362 is in second, with Snoopy, Peter McCrate in third, with QE Jr., Finley Q up to fourth, and Yannick Kalansky in fifth.
Going to be an interesting one to watch. Let's see how those guys get on. But let's see if we can move up through the field a little bit, and we'll have a look what things look like from the perspective. Here's Yannick Kalansky. That's young Finley in front of us. Peter McCrate, Snoopy in the 846 car. Finley Q looked like he was going to have a little nose up the inside of Peter there. And you can see
definitely got the lines. Look at that, and he's like glued to that inside. Not an inch of error. Get my tongue twisted there. Yannick Kalansky following Finley through.
And he just gets a little wide there. That's unfortunate for young Finley as Yannick squeezes his way past up the inside.
Kalansky is a red grader and Finley's a blue, so you would naturally expect Kalansky to be on the move up, and he's actually looking really fast. He could well challenge for the lead here.
I think he could indeed. You've got Matt Fawkes and Lucas Hopster in front, and Yannick Kalansky is right up on the back of that white and yellow 362 car already.
Definitely did not take him long to close up, and it's really showing again as he's up the inside of Fawkes this time. Just squeezing through, just managing it. Yes, he does. Ashley Shaw on the outside as well, I think.
Second place, that was That was Alan
That was
Christie that was in the wall.
and Hopster had to. I think he made the wrong choice. Hopster went wide, and he went into Christie. I think because that just went all wrong for him, and Kalansky has taken up the lead.
Finley
Huey
Q still
Juniors.
managing to hold on to fourth place.
Michael Barber up there battling with Craig Durrant. Great battle between those two in the smaller cars.
Stuart Hammond in that 931 car that we're watching at the moment. He's got himself in third place.
Oh, look at the Kalansky's already gone, checked out, and has won this race. But that was a close battle behind between Durrant and that was Michael Barber. But somehow Aaron McGrath has slipped in there and has beaten Barber to the line. So I think we might have missed that. But fantastic stuff, battling for the fifth position there. 3 cars battling it out. And well done to Yannick Kalansky for a brilliant win there, really cutting his way through and proving that he's one of the ones to watch this evening for the
Yeah,
finals.
definitely. So that was an interesting one. That was quite full of action. Again, we had an incident which affected the lead. We didn't see what happened to Alan Christie that had him sideways up against the arm car on the outside there. But obviously he collected Lucas Hopster, who at the time was our leader. I must admit though, the pace that Yannick Kalansky was catching up with those guys, I think it only would have been a matter of laps before Yannick would have made it past Lucas for the lead anyway.
I mean, you forget as well the Martin Menchie's incident at the start where he led into a couple of turns and was turned. I don't know, again, whether they'll be looking at that in the stewards' lobby afterwards, but disappointment for him after a solid third heat where he came through to win from Ryan Woolsey.
Very true. I had indeed forgotten about that. That was one of the first incidents that we had across the entire race. So yeah, it's been, I'd say the races have been affected by a few spins and crashes, but it's not been, I think, the major crash fest that everyone was expecting it to be, with us having cars on their roof left, right, and centre, which has been nice to see. And it's been very fast racing as well.
Indeed, yeah, definitely one of the better tracks that we've seen. I don't know whether it's going to be my favourite. I still think the surprise of the lot was Nuts Corner, and I still think that's because that surprised me so much. I think that's been my favourite week so far. But this has come pretty close. It's been a very good week of racing, and certainly delivering on the action as the PRI venue always used to do.
So let's see. I think we have the results through, which I can flash up on our screen just before we cut to something a little bit different. We'd normally be doing an interview with someone at this point in the proceedings. We're not going to be doing that this evening. I'll let you I'll let you take our spectators through what we're going to have instead.
Well, yeah. So interview this week just sadly hasn't come around. I haven't got a driver to speak with, but this is partly why it's been so busy at Speedworth TV over the last week with all the big news and the breaking stories. I'm sure if you're a fan of the channel or if you're a fan of Speedworth, you'd have seen the news out there. But we're going to sort of, in honour of the news that we're going back racing, practicing, and all the like at Aldershot. We've got an Aldershot heat to bring you. Riding off the success of the Ipswich one that we played last week, we've got an Aldershot heat from September of last year, I believe. National Hot Rods once again. So that should be exciting to see. And just quickly, Gav, with the results on the screen for the last heat.
Well, I'll take you guys through that one. Yannick Kalansky taking the victory for heat number 5, Matt Fawkes in second. Stuart Hammond picked up third, and Finley Q managing to pick himself up a very good fourth position there. Craig Durrant, that's a very good finish for the young man in the Mini. And Aaron McGrath also doing very well, once again making moves from the superstar grade all the way up to 6th place. He's done very well for himself this evening. Michael Barber in 7th, Ashley Shaw in that orange number 32 car in 8th, Peter McCrate in the 846, Mr. Snoopy himself in 9th, and Carl Waller Barrett rounds out your top 10 for Heat 5. Now, speaking of a couple of names that we see in there, I know from having looked at the footage that you sent me over earlier on, Dom, that we're now going to play. I know that Carl Waller-Barrett and not Finley, unfortunately, but Jason Q actually feature quite heavily in what we're about to show. So I will leave it to all of you guys to have a little watch of this and enjoy some real world national hot rod racing.
Aaron Dew leading this one for the moment as oh, we have a red. Complete restart, grid order exactly the same as it was, and we just pull those tyres back. The tyres, unfortunately, just straight onto the raceway on turn 1 there, so this 35 lap race we didn't want to see with anybody colliding with the tyres in the opening laps. So hopefully we'll get those tyres back to where they're supposed to be and have a complete restart. So the cars should be back into the exact grid positions that they occupied just a few moments ago, and we'll be up and racing once again. Well, away they go for the second time. And once again it is the 23 car that forges ahead. Aaron Dew then in the 23 machine. Comes through to peel off the first lap. Into second place settles the 92 car. And behind these it's 136. Who was the sitting to the outside of our Porsche. So a retirement then from the 69 machine of Lance Bowen. Into the safety of the centre green he goes. And the 23 car and the 92 machine begin to pull away from the rest of the pack. So through they go once again. 111 then. Mark Baines at the tail end of the races in the 111 car. 23 though. Leading this one, certainly got the hammer well down. 23 and 92. The 111 car will hopefully keep out of the way of the racers as they come through. So the Treble 1 car being asked to retire. It's a technical retirement for him. Jason Q now finds his way up into third position in the 174 car. And he's hotly pursued by the Carl Waller-Barrett machine, 162, in fourth position. And then the 17 car of the world champion, Rob McDonald, is currently lying in fifth place with a very nice looking gold roof on the car, but it's 23 dominating this one for the moment at least. Aaron Dew looking good in the silver and orange car as he goes through to peel off another lap, and currently the 92 car of Jack Blood is the man looking to perhaps not be quite as fast as the third, fourth and fifth place cars in that second place, but certainly giving every encouragement to Aaron Dew in car 23, who's beginning to leave the rest of the pack. But the 92 car goes wide and allows 174, 162 and car 17 all through on the inside. So there's our race leader peeling off another lap. Some of the back marking cars now begin to loom up ahead. So our start marshal will begin to issue the blue flag to some of these cars now, just to tell them that the faster cars are coming up from behind and hopefully relinquish their position on track to allow the faster cars to come through. Certainly Jason Q making the best of his second place at the moment, with Carl Waller-Barrett not too far behind in third, and the current world champion Rob McDonald in fourth place. So it will be halfway next time through, Mr. Starter, halfway to go for the next time through for the 23 car, and that's missed now, so don't bother with that. 23 then continues on his way, making his way through the back markers. So through they go once again, and it's still the same leader there, the 23 car, Aaron Dew, looking very good for this one, making his way determinedly through the back markers in that 23 car. Second man at the moment is the black and white car with the green stripe on the side. That's Jason Q, the current European champion. Behind Jason we've got the 162 car of Carl Wallabarra, and then the world champion in the 17 machine, Rob McDonald. Is there anything these cars could do to get on terms then with our front runner, who's certainly taken this race by the scruff of the neck, and Aaron Dew looking very, very good. Oh, and there's a blow up in the 42 car for Shane Bland, and Shane Bland is, I think that's tyre smoke coming off of the near side rear tyre. Shane continues to go, but he's right up ahead of our front running leader in the race at the moment, and surely that tyre is going to blow in the not too far distant future as Shane Black tries to continue with it. Our race leader finds his way through on the inside of Shane Bland, but I think it will be a technical disqualification sooner or later then for Shane Bland in the 42 car. Hard lines on him, but there he is. At least he's made the safety of the infield, and that has now brought Jason Q up to within striking distance of our front-running Aaron Dew. It's Aaron Dew in the 23 car, the 174 machine of Jason Q there in second place. Still Carl Wallabarra in third position in 162, and Rob McDonald in 17 in fourth place. Through they come once again, they peel off another lap. So the 42 car then is back out on the raceway now, but there we are, it's 23 who tucks in ahead of him, and 174 continues on his way in second place, and it's a much closer second place at the moment for Jason Q. But certainly not able to make an overtaking manoeuvre. It will be 5 to go, Mr. Starter. 5 to go for our race leader in the 23 car, Aaron Dew. It's Aaron Dew and Jason Q, then Carl Wallabarra, and still Rob McDonald in fourth position. Rob McDonald now looking to overtake the Carl Wallabarra machine, and a bit of a nudge there for Carl Wallabarra, who resolutely stays in position. But Rob McDonald now beginning to get a little bit impatient. Still the race leader, 23, Aaron Dew, continues on his way as the laps begin to flow past really rapidly indeed now. And Carl Wallabarra just being blue flagged to remain in position. There's a faster car behind, but it's 2 laps to go for our race leader, Aaron Dew. 2 laps to go for the chasing Jason Q. Aaron Dew and Jason Q now breaking away from Carl Wallabarra and Rob McDonald, but we're into the last lap of racing, and it's all looking very good indeed for Aaron Dew, who certainly made the best of that pole start, Polshiner start. There he is, from green flag to checkered flag. It's a win for Aaron Dew in the 23 car. 174 then, Jason Q in second place, maintaining his third position still, the 162 car of Carl Wallabarra. Nothing about it that the world champion Rob McDonald could do in 17, home and dry in fourth place. The rest of the cars come home for their respective positions, and it's now red flag time, Mr. Starter.
So there we go, another week and another bit of fantastic footage from the guys over at Speedworth TV. Absolutely huge thanks to them for supplying us with that and allowing us to to relive what real racing actually looks like. Although it should be starting up again pretty soon. I think you've even got something to say about what's happening with Speedworth and the upcoming races, haven't you, Dom?
Yeah, so I was teasing it before we played the race. For those of you who don't know, obviously there's a practice session at Aldershot running this Sunday. Speedworth TV are going to be testing out their live functionality at that meeting. So basically, we're going to be trying to stream most of the practice meeting. I believe we'll be live from 10 a.m. If technology is on our side. The guys are going to be down there, just basically doing bare bones capturing of the racing and the cars going around. There's no actual points or anything going around. It's just literally just making sure that our live feature works for the big news, which was also announced over the previous couple of days, which was that we're finally getting a meeting, a proper meeting, point scoring behind closed doors. Unfortunately, still no spectators, but we are running a meeting. It's a banger meeting, so I'm probably preaching to the wrong audience here, but at the moment there's on July 12th, Sunday July the 12th, there's going to be a meeting starting from 12 midday at the Aldershot Arena, featuring National Unlimited bangers and rookie bangers. Subject to confirmation, there may be a third formula there as well. I think it would be good to see some sort of rod formula on there as well, so that we can cater to all audiences. Numbers looking all right on both rookies and national bangers at the moment. Considering this was only announced within the week, we've got over 20 with the unlimiteds and over 30 with the rookies. I think there's a lot of things, a lot of people still yet to book in. So fingers crossed that we get an exciting time then. But for now, subscribers to the Speedworth TV channel, there'll be footage going up this Sunday of practice, and that will feature hot rods, brisker. That will be all kinds of cars practicing. And be sure to tune in then if you're subscribed. If not, please go over to our Facebook and our website, check us out, and hopefully you can find something to sort of tide you over until we can go racing all together once again. So
lots of people loving that video in the Facebook. Clive Marchant loving that one, and Martin saying Lecker QE, you love this track. Jason Q obviously recounting the fact that he was going well there, and yeah, as I said before the video came on, that there's a few of the drivers that you see this evening in cars which look very similar to what they're racing in the virtual world who are on there. So QE was in there, and obviously Carl Waller-Barrett was in there. Yeah, that's definitely a good bit of watching there. But yeah, the guys are starting to head out and get ready for the B final. So I'll let you take everyone through who we can expect to see in the B final this evening, Dom.
Right, so for audience's reference, we had a conflab during the race. This might not sync up with what you see, but hopefully this is the correct grid. So B final. On the pole, in the 296 Citroen Saxo, we have Michael Barber. Alongside him, we have Alan Christie, also in a Saxo in the 959 car. In third, we've got Ronan O'Brien in the 715 car. And then in fourth, Wayne Woolsey. Ashley Shaw is then in fifth. Darren Potter is then in sixth. Rapid Roy is in seventh. And then in eighth is Dara Walsh. Snoopy follows him. Then it's Glenn Van Tonder. Owen Burke, a little bit of bad luck this evening and not being able to make the A final. Same with Ted McGrath, who comes next. Just not been his night. And another one who I would have expected to see higher up, Jason Loosemore in the SA15 car. Lucas Hopster is there next. Then comes David Ryan 30. Danny Van Ruin in the 47 car is next after David. After David Ryan. Crasher Chrome 66. That's Tommy Chrome. Then we have Blair Robertson. Not sure on that one because Blair won his 2 heats, so I don't know why he'd be in the B, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've completely missed something here. Rowan Bauer, 94, and then rounding out the grid is Wilkes 111. So fingers crossed that's relatively right. But yeah, we'll have to see when we go to the grid who's where.
I think that tallied up with what I'd managed to get on the screen as well. Unfortunately, without Sarah being here, I haven't managed to do her usual copy-paste job. She normally does a fantastic job of copying and pasting the grids for the finals into the Facebook and the YouTube chat. Without her being here, we've only got so many hands between us, so we haven't managed to get that one done for you.
Definitely feels like we've lost a limb on that front.
It does indeed. But yeah, so we are running into the B final. Obviously, you've got the list of contenders in front of you. Who are you going to be watching out for in this one then?
Top four have been really good tonight. They've been consistent, but they've had mixed fortunes. Michael Barber, just looking back over the heats, 8th and 7th, so he's been all right, but he's been coming from the back all the time. He's in the 2nd place position, I believe. No, incorrect. He's in the pole. He'll be most definitely the favourite for this. Alan Christie's had a bit of mixed fortune, but has had some higher finishes than Barber. Ronan O'Brien, you said you didn't put the practice in. Now look what's happened. 3rd in the B final. You've got a chance, most certainly, Ronan. And I think he's probably one of the better drivers that we can look to watch at the front of the pack. We may be in with the chance of claiming that wild card spot. Wayne Woolsey, 950, another one who will certainly be in the chase. From there, Ashley Shaw and Darren Potter, they've had some good races tonight, but it's always difficult because this race isn't in graded order. It's always difficult for the faster drivers to come through this time. So I'm not entirely sure whether we'll see much change further back. Fingers crossed. It's a relatively clean race as well, because finals tend to be clean, but kind of some drivers can have a rush of blood to the head, and make moves which they'll regret in post. Fingers crossed we don't see that in this heat.
Well, Dorothy on the Facebook has said Gavin and Dom are finally starting to miss Sarah. We've been missing Sarah all night, Dorothy. It's not quite the same without her. Like Dom said, it's like we're missing a limb not having her with her. And we definitely we can't wait to have her back in and commentating with us. Hopefully next week, if all works out well. Obviously, real life unfortunately does have a tendency to get in the way when it's least convenient to do so. But you can see on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, you can see everyone starting to get themselves ready for this evening's event. So if we head round, we can have a look at the guys up the front. Here is the leading pack. There was a leading pack once I managed to get the camera to stay still.
I think we're now looking at your car parked up in the centre there.
More than likely, yeah, that is mine. There is actually, I had a little bit of fun actually while you were reading out and talking about who you thought was going to do well in this one. If there's a load of donut tyre marks just down by the start-finish line, that will be me, where I was just doing a few donuts while the guys were all loading into the server. So because that's Craig Durrant, who is once again assisting with us on the admin side of things. Just waiting because the game's going to have to catch up a little bit. There we go. Now we're back and we're concentrating on Michael Barber, who is your pole sitter for this event. Pull in some engine noise. It's not going to be anything spectacular, and it's not going to compare to that video that we just had a moment ago, unfortunately. But at least it lets you know that these guys are getting ready to go racing. So definitely keep an eye on the guys in this lead pack. Michael Barber, Wayne Woolsey and Ronan O'Brien. They've been very consistent. They've been quick tonight. Huey says go on the 296.
Just noticing an absent Alan Christie. You should be second on the grid, unless we've done a calculation error and he's not in this one. He's in the A final. There's a gap, so I'm assuming we're missing him, sadly, and his chances of getting that wildcard spot out, if that's correct.
So 25 laps, they're getting ready to go. And away we go for the B final here at Arena Essex for round 8 of the Online Oval Racing National Hot Rod Series. 25 laps. That looked like Peter McCrate that had made a bit of a poor start at the back there.
I think he was asleep. Busy reading the newspaper or something, and it was just completely missed the start by a good 10 seconds there because the guys in the front were coming back round. Michael Barber with a clean getaway. Wayne Woolsey getting a much better start than Ronan O'Brien that time. But Ronan's still in third. Darren Walsh is in the fourth, and Rapid Roy's up to fifth. Good move up the grid from him.
Here we go, looking back from on board with Michael Barber, your leader, as Wayne Woolsey has a look up the inside. Nice little bit of advertising for rollingroad.co.uk as we look back at his spoiler there. And let's go to the outside because this is looking like a close fought battle already.
It's looking tasty. Michael Barber's been trying to get the traction through that outside line, but has finally succumbed to Wayne Woolsey's attack. I'm sure he'll be sticking close. He's certainly one of the faster drivers. But actually he's slipping back at the moment. Wayne Woolsey showing a turn of pace and possibly starting to build a gap and secure his place in that A final.
And the two guys, both of them, both Michael and Wayne, absolutely flying when you then compare them to Ronan O'Brien, who's running in third. Look, that's the 4-second gap between Wayne Woolsey and Ronan O'Brien, and Michael Barber's only some half a second behind the leader.
Darren Potter and Ashley Shaw sticking close as well. Jason Loosemore's made up some positions too. Just not had the luck this evening, but he's sitting there jumping between 6th and 7th, battling with Rapid Roy at the moment, and there he is. David Ryan as well also getting involved. So the leaders come into shot. Wayne Woolsey from Michael Barber. Here is Ronan O'Brien and Darren Potter, and a little bit of contact back there, I'm not sure, and Ashley Shaw goes round. Yeah, there was some contact there. I think he might have just tipped the back end, and well, it's lost him some time, and now in 10th position, so I struggled to see how he'd managed to get through to the A final from there.
So lap 13, Wayne Woolsey in first, Michael Barber in second, Ronan O'Brien in third. Those are your top three so far. Darren Potter in the 79 car in fourth. Jason Loosemore not doing too badly for himself, managing to stay out of trouble, and the South African is running in fifth. And David Ryan in that bright yellow Corsa is in sixth place. You can see there's a fairly big gap. Ronan O'Brien is pretty much sat all by himself. He's a fair way away from the leaders, but then you look behind and he's got a fairly big gap to the guys then behind him, who are all bunched up and all fighting together.
He's got some back markers to contend with soon, but yeah, Glenn Van Tonder on the outside there, he's one of the ones that he's got to get past.
David Ryan getting a little bit loose, and that looks like Jason Loosemore's going to try and take advantage of that. Glenn Van Tonder, yeah, you can see on the outside there, that's he's obviously one of the guys who's been racing with us for a little while. That'll be a little bit of a netcode issue there for Jason Loosemore as you watched him appear to bump into David Ryan and then slide wide.
Oh, that was some oversteer though. That was definitely getting loose off the corner, and Darren Potter is now looking to make a move, but
that looks
instead,
like Roy Anderson up the inside.
And he makes the move as well. He's got it to stick. Rapid Roy making some more progress up the field.
So lap 20, looks like Ted McGrath has retired.
Wayne Woolsey still out front. Michael Barber a little further down. The sort of fluctuating a gap of around a second there.
You've got Darrell Walsh as you watch as they head out down the start finish line. You'll see them come back round in just a second. Darrell Walsh splitting Woolsey and Michael Barber.
Yeah, it's a lap car, but Barber has to dispatch him soon, or he can pretty much say goodbye to all chances of getting that wild card.
Darren Potter, who was in the wall there. So lap 23, these guys have got 2 laps left. This is third place man Ronan O'Brien that we're watching now. This is second place man Michael Barber, who is just shy of a second behind this man here, Wayne Woolsey. I think this is the first time that we've seen him up this high position wise in a B final, so it looks like he is going to be going through to the AIM final. He's on his final lap now. That's Jason Loosemore around the wrong way. The leaders managed to get round. Someone definitely clipped him in the final corner there. But it looks like the positions, for the most part, managed to remain relatively unaffected. Wayne Wolsey, your winner for the B final. And obviously that's the most important result because he now picks up the 21st grid position going into the A final. We watch Ronan O'Brien. Celebratory donuts. He's just doing donuts on top of where I'd already done them. But, so we are in round 8 of the series. Have 2 more rounds left to go after this one. So, assuming there's no changes and votes made by the drivers, we've obviously got this one at Arena. Then we are going next week to Aldershot and finally Buxton to finish off the series. I believe that may not technically be true because aren't we then running another meeting afterwards at, was it Northampton where we had the issues and they voted to change the track?
I haven't actually checked that one up, but I think there is talks of having a sort of championship finale meeting at the end. But I know that the ones that we've got for certain listed are Aldershot next week and Buxton the week after. Whether we do another one after that, whether we do a third, is again matter for the other people to decide, not me. But yeah, the championship certainly is going to be hard fought in these closing weeks. McFerrin is the man to catch, and yeah, look forward to seeing him race in the next heat.
Keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gents, on the Facebook page is probably going to be the best place for you to keep up to date with what is happening over the remaining heats and the championship positions and what is going to be happening yeah, with regards to whether or not there's going to be world finals, etc. that is going on. Sarah, bless her, it feels very odd this end too. I'm now putting washing away, so I'd much rather be commentating. So the washing's obviously not keeping her that excited. She's obviously got us on the iPad or on her phone. Yeah, we definitely wish that you were here with us, Sarah. And Clive Marchant then chiming in with the joys of parenthood in response to Sarah's point there. Erica Van Tonder as well saying thanks for a great race. It has been some very good racing this evening, Erica, I must admit. We've had some good showings from the South African contingent so far this evening, and I think we will see a few of those then coming through into the A final, which will be upon us shortly. I know Tads is now starting to call people into the server. And basically what they do is they get them all to join into the server before they then line them all up on the grid. And so it's probably about that time where I hand over to Dom and let him go through the A final grid, which unlike the B final grid, we chatted and we're a little bit more confident that this one should actually reflect what is happening, aren't we, Dom?
Yeah, I am, but at the same time, I'm still slightly perplexed because Blair Robertson with Heat 2 and Heat 4 wins this evening was somehow appearing in that B final. So unless, I don't know whether they've changed something or unless he's been docked positions for something, again, I'll have to find out from the admin and people like Tads in post what's happened. But I was to believe he was to be on pole, but the grids have been sent and it's not the case. So I'll go through with the heat final, the final A for tonight's racing. And this is for the big points in the championship. On the pole position, we have the 193 car of Yannick Kalansky. Beside him, the 910 of Noel McFerrin. Then in third comes Stuart Hammond in the 931 car, and then Adam Turner in the 447 Corsa. Fifth position is Jason Q in the 174 Tigra. Beside him is Ryan Wolsey in the 940. Finley sat right behind his dad in the 74 car. Adam Cochrane is then beside him in the 434. For the next set of drivers, we have Scott Kendall, winner tonight, but unfortunately in his second heat just lost the opportunity. Then beside him we've got Charlie Elwood, Aaron McGrath making up the next slot, and then Donovan Vorster with a good second position in that fifth heat, I think, to get him in the A final. The last pack of drivers not the last pack of drivers, the penultimate pack of drivers is Ricky Slater, followed by Carl Waller-Barrett. We've got Matt Fawkes and then Ollie Jones, or the Jones Racing Car. And then rounding up the grid in the final pack of 4, we've got Johnny Hammond, Johnny McCoy, Sean Jacklin, and at the back in the Mini, Craig Durrant.
Well, those are going to be a lot of names that anyone who has been watching us over the past few weeks, or even, those, and I know we have viewers who've been watching us from round number 1. That's a pretty. If we were calling heat number 1 of the heat star-studded, I think this final A is definitely star-studded. It's you've got your Brad Pitts and your Angelina Jolies of the online oval racing fraternity, if you like, who are racing in this one. I wouldn't want to pick who I'd see as a mover and shaker that I'd want to keep my eye on for this one. But do you know what? I'll hand it over to you, Dom, and you're more than welcome to try.
Dump it on me, why don't you? I mean, Niall McFerrin has been Mr. Consistent tonight. He's not been running away with victories like we've seen in previous ones, but he's obviously been coming from the back each time, and he starts second for this heat. I can't imagine him having too much of an issue staying up there. Yannick Kalansky on the pole, he's had a good night. Fingers crossed that he can really put in a challenge against McFerrin. We always like to see someone challenging the championship leader. Hopefully tonight is Kalansky's night in that sense. Looking a little further back, there are several drivers that I think could be in contention. Turner 447 has been good throughout the night. Scotty 78, Scott Kendall, with that win earlier on. But he's starting a little bit further down because of the retirement he had. Ricky Slater got a second early on in the meeting, but then suffered later on. I don't really want to pick a winner, but I'm going to be boring and say McFerrin. Fingers crossed we get a fight from Kalansky, but I think it's the writing's on the wall when it comes to the victory at the moment.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. It's definitely going to be an interesting one to see whether, as you said, if Niall McFerrin runs away with it, it may make for a slightly less interesting A final. We may end up finding action further down the field. But yeah, you've definitely got some people in there who've been quick this evening and could probably give Niall a bit of a run for his money. Adam Cochrane's been very fast, and obviously Yannick Kalansky finding himself up there on that pole position has proved that he's been very quick tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see, who can challenge Niall. And I think it sounds like they're just all trying to get into the server now. It sounds like they're just waiting on Carl Waller-Barrett to come in before they start setting everything up and getting everyone into their positions. Now, I'll take this chance because we normally leave it until right at the very end, don't we, to do Sarah's bit on the Sunday action that we have going on here at Online Oval Racing. So it seems like a pretty good time for us to do it while they're getting themselves sorted on a Sunday. And Sarah might have to chime in with the time because I can't remember exactly when it is. I know it's early afternoon.
I think from memory it's 12 till 2.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to put it on the line and get it wrong.
I'm gonna put my neck on the line, and hopefully, if I have got it wrong, Sarah will be in the chat straight away to correct me. And but fingers crossed, I've remembered. I've been here long enough. I should remember it by now.
So on that Sunday, we are going to say 12 and 2 in the server, we have the opportunity for wives, children, dogs, whoever you want who might not be registered in the league to come and join in and jump in and race. You can race. There's a lot of the actual guys who race week in, week out as well, who still turn up on the Sunday. So maybe, for example, if it's 2 till 4. We were wrong. It's 2 till 4. We got right with the 2 o'clock. But yeah, you get a chance. I know Sarah and her little boy quite enjoy racing on there as well, and I know he loves racing. I think it's Chris Crane that he had a particularly memorable little scrap with one Sunday. Sarah will correct me if I was wrong, but yeah, that's a cracking chance for other people to just get in and get involved in the racing And yeah, there's no points. There's no one. How to put it? There's nothing at stake really when you race in that one. It's just everyone there for a love of racing and a little bit of fun. So definitely worth checking that out on a Sunday afternoon. I'm trying to think now if there's anything else that we. Last week's was cancelled. Says Roy Wood in the Facebook. I can imagine that it would be going ahead this weekend. Obviously, everyone will be let know if this one is cancelled. But I know that quite a few people have enjoyed racing that. They've had good fun with it. So hopefully that will be up and running. There it says, yeah, Stanley loves Craney. And they are all starting to get themselves into position for this final race now on the grid. Everyone is arranging themselves into race order. I think this is going to be, as we said, if we don't end up with Noel McFerrin running away at the front, this will definitely be a memorable final. I tell you one that is going to be worth watching, and there will definitely be some people watching spectators wise. Will be the battle between the queues.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one. That line astern on the grid, Finley and Jason. Jason got the better of Finley this week, but I think there was a I can't remember which week it was where Finley came out the blocks and beat his dad. I think there was one of the bragging rights certainly that week, but we'll have to wait and see come the end of the race what that looks like.
So here we go. We are watching. These are going to be two guys to watch from the start. Look at how close Yannick Kalansky has tucked himself up to Noel McFerrin. This is going to be an absolute drag race down to turn one. Yannick Kalansky's got the advantage being on the inside, but I tell you what, throughout the season so far, the starts that we've been seeing from Noel McFerrin have been electric. So let's see how this one goes. Tads is just getting them all ready now.
Tension is rising certainly, and Kalansky will want to get the inside for turn one.
I'm quite excited to see this actually, which is always a good sign if you're excited to see the races that you're commentating on. You know what? Let's ride on board now. We're going to ride on board with Stuart Hammond. He's tucked in behind Yannick Kalansky. What a view we can have from here going in to turn one of the A final. Keep your eyes on this. We might even be lucky. We might actually even see Stuart make a dive up the inside. We never know, but definitely keep your eyes on those two cars that we have got in front.
Not long now.
Amusingly, I just heard Tads in the admin room. Oh, here they go. 3, 2, 1. Oh!
No! And Kalansky's missed the start, and Turner's gone through into second, and yeah, Kalansky has just about cleaned it up, so he's in third. Stuart Hammond has held his fourth position, but in the front it is Noel McFerrin in the 910 car.
I'm definitely glad that I chose this as an onboard now, as there's a little nudge there on Yannick Kalansky, who's all kinds of sideways. He's now gone back in position again. He's out wide. That's Jason Q who's tucked in behind him.
Finley Q in sixth, so the Q's running, or park line astern, they are now running 5 and 6 in the race.
Yannick Kalansky looking up the inside of Stuart Hammond. I think he might make it stick into turn one. He does indeed. And Jason Q is definitely trying to take advantage of that scrap in front of him.
Oh,
Kalansky getting nudged again.
I'm not sure if it was a mistake or contact, but he keeps running slightly wide and just tyre smoke coming up as he shifts wide and loses time.
Now let's watch him. He's been passed by Jason Q. There's Finley Q behind, who's got a nice little gap to the cars in front and then also to the guys behind. But you can see Ryan Woolsey is leading that pack of cars, and look who's in that pack. That's not a pack to be messed with either. Ryan Woolsey at the front. I can see Ricky Slater in there. Carl Waller-Barrett is actually behind Ryan.
Adam Cochran in there too. It's can't write any of those off, but they are very much. I hate to to put a downer on these guys. I don't think they'll be fighting for the win today, but valuable points at stake nonetheless. As Niall McFerrin comes round through the shot there, Turner 447 in second. Jonathan Borster staying wide. He's a lapped car.
And that's Charlie Elwood, who was out running around the outside of the track there. Niall McFerrin, I think that's Potter that he's catching up with there. We'll have a look, because this is going to start getting interesting. Niall McFerrin is starting to catch back up with the guys who are in this little group. It's not going to be long before he is going to be scrapping with these guys.
That's the McFerrin is catching the 78 of Scott Kendall there. So Scott, who won early on, is now falling down. Oh, that's Finley going wide?
I think that was Finley who just clipped a bit of the inside curb there, although I might be wrong. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's Finley. I think he's moved back. That's Aaron McGrath that's tucked in behind him now, just making a move up the inside. Yannick Kalansky. Now these guys are starting to move through the traffic.
Kalansky's fallen down to 8th. He's obviously had some issues, and round goes Kendall. I think Kalansky is... Well, I can understand the frustration. I think there was a lack of patience there, and he just tipped Kendall round. We're looking at Carl Waller-Barrett, who's made his way up into 6th, and just as we do that, we switch to Ryan Woolsey. Kendall retiring there at the bottom of your screen. But yeah, the pack here fighting hard over 4th position. Jason Q in 4th, next to 5th and 6th. Look at that between Waller-Barrett. He's wanted to go through.
18 laps of the 25. We've got 7 left to run. Jason Q has got a little bit of a gap between himself and Ryan Woolsey behind. As I say that, Ryan closes right up. Here is Stuart Hammond in that 931 car. And your second place, Adam Turner, who's still within sight of Niall McFerrin, but Niall is making a move through the traffic, and I think it's going to be very hard to catch him.
Turner now with 3 cars between himself and McFerrin, obviously 3 back markers, but he's got to navigate nonetheless, and that gap, 1.4 seconds.
And that was Kalansky that we just saw as we ride on board with Niall McFerrin. That was Kalansky we saw disappear off the inside, and just look at the speed that Niall is carrying as he's... I mean, none of these guys are slouches that we're watching here. That's Jason Q that you can see on the left. That's Aaron McGrath on the right. Both of these guys have been quick and very consistent in races. And Niall McFerrin is just absolutely flying.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to catch at this point. Turner's still there, it's still within 2 seconds, but by the end of this race that might not be the case. As McFerrin comes up to Aaron McGrath, that's the 10th place position, so McFerrin is lapping the top 10 now.
Johnny Hammond in front of Aaron McGrath, and Donovan Vorster in front of that group as well. Oh, that looks like a big incident. That's Johnny McCoy that was round and was sideways.
McFerrin
I think
escaped there, but very lucky to escape. And oh, more contact, and Turner's closing up here.
Turner's right up behind him now.
Drama in the closing laps as they come around. This is the checkered flag. McFerrin has it, and he holds it. Very important stuff. Oh, and that's after the flag takeout, but whether there was some revenge there for slowing him down, I don't know. Turner 447 close in the end, thanks to some traffic that got in McFerrin's way, but I'm sure he'll still be pleased with the second. Stuart Hammond getting the 3rd, and Carl Waller-Barrett 4th. Unfortunate for Kalansky there, complete capitulation, just very unfortunate. I think the car very unstable and he got tipped a few times, but just not in the top 10 at all, and disappointment for him in the end.
So, it was a race of incidents. There was definitely a few spins and whatnot which had an effect on how things happened. But that is the end of our virtual meeting this week. That is the end of Final A for our racing at a virtual Arena Essex. Arena Essex, which, as you will all know, is unfortunately closed in the real world. It was sold off for redevelopment as housing. Carl Upshur with a comment on the Facebook saying the QE2 bridge is closed, so it could take a while to get home. Now, as someone who's visited Arena Essex on many occasions, I can definitely agree that when you get problems there, then that's always going to cause an issue. But yeah, some very good close racing and very quick racing that we had tonight. Can you pick a favourite moment across this evening's events, Dom?
I'm actually going to go out there and say I really enjoyed the first heat the most. That was a close race. We got a few incidents with the cars going on two wheels. We didn't see that too much in the later heats, but I think that was one of my favourites for sure. With the really close finish, 2/10 it was, and a hard fought race. Some of the finals have shown some good action, but I don't think they topped the first heat for me actually.
No, I'd agree with you on that one. That was a very close race, as we said, 0.2 seconds separating first and second, and yeah, you can't get much closer in the racing for this, as we said, unless you then start looking at the cars being side by side as they go over the line. Yeah, I think actually bearing in mind everyone was expecting that to be an absolute crash fest at Arena Essex, given what the track is known for, that was actually a pretty good set of racing that we saw there, and yeah, it did produce some good overtakes and some good defending, as well as a couple of people getting it wrong and managing to clip the curb on the inside, which constantly caused a little bit of an issue.
Good racing overall, though, it has to be said. Standard's been quite high tonight. I think everything I addressed earlier on did play its part. Certainly that concrete inside, I think that might have been what started the chain reaction in front of McFerrin in that last heat, someone clipping the inside and things just snowballing from there as such. And yeah, just very lucky that he managed to hold that win.
So your final A results for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Niall McFerrin was your winner. It wasn't by as large a distance as we were expecting. There was a little bit of a scuffle ahead of him, and Adam Turner came very close and was putting him under pressure as we went into the last lap and final corners. Stuart Hammond comes away with third, and Carl Waller-Barrett in fourth. Ryan Wolsey doing nicely and managing to pick up fifth. Ricky Slater in sixth. Adam Cochran in seventh. Charlie Alwood in eighth. Aaron McGrath doing very well in the A final and managing to pick up ninth. I must say he's been doing very well, bearing in mind he's been starting in the Superstar grade and making his way through the field. And Jason Q rounds out your top 10 for the A final. So that's another week over with. Round 8. Who'd have thought it? As I said at the beginning, when we begun this lockdown and wanting to do some events to tide us over until real world racing came back, who would have thought that 8 rounds later we would still be waiting for everyone to go racing in the real world? We've had some absolutely fantastic races across those 8 rounds, and tonight is no exception. But a huge shout out, as always, goes to all of you guys on Facebook, on YouTube, in the Discord, and everyone just coming out supporting week in, week out. You've all been absolutely amazing. It's brilliant every night coming on and seeing your comments as you watch the racing. It does make our evening. You can catch us week in, week out. We are on the Facebook, we are on the YouTubes. Just search for Online Oval Racing and you will find us there. Not only that, we are also broadcast live on Speedworth TV. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. A huge thanks to those guys. And if you are missing out on some real racing action and you want to get your fix, then you cannot find a much better place to go and watch for some short oval racing. You've seen the video that we had earlier on this evening. I'm umming and ahhing. What do we think, Dom? Should we give them another taste of that one in case people missed it earlier on?
I think it's only fair. It was a good heat, and I won't spoil it for those who missed it, but the Ginettas really coming on strong in that race. If only we could have them in the online oval racing, I'm sure we'd have a few people adopt those cars.
So, there we go. This one over with. We are racing. Let's just show you again what is happening as we carry on. Obviously, this week at Arena Essex. Next week, we head to Aldershot, and the week after that, we head to Buxton. It's on the wind down now for the season for events wise, but I tell you what, things are definitely hotting up within the championship. We will have the championship standings going up on the Facebook very soon as we've got those all compiled, and they will be thrown out for you guys to mull over And I think the back end of this season is going to be a juicy one to see who is going to sit on top of the points pile. I can very much guess who it is at the moment, but we'll start to see. And
Anything could happen. Anything could happen, Gav. You never know.
Exactly. That is the joy of racing. So, once again, a huge thanks to you all coming out and watching. A huge thanks to the drivers, and a huge thanks to Tads, who has been our admin for this evening, managing to steward all the drivers, get them into the places they were supposed to be so that they could entertain us. Dom, I'll let you have the final say so, and then we will run into that fantastic Aldershot footage that you have from yourself and the guys at Speedworth TV.
Well, Arena Essex definitely delivering on the action, not so much on the crashing as we all thought. But yeah, some good heat, some good racing all round tonight. Very impressed with how it's gone. Hopefully, we've got more of that still to come. There's only two meetings left. Aldershot is probably going to be quite a tight one, and well, from that basis, I reckon it will be quite a chaotic one. Buxton, day after my birthday, that will be a good one to do. Looking forward to seeing how Buxton is a longer circuit. We've got a few more chances to get up to full speed. And yeah, looking forward to having Sarah back next week as well. As we said, a bit chaotic in regards to grids towards the end of the show without her. So look forward to having that aspect back as well as her input with all the riders and racers that we have out there. And as I say, Gav has got the footage lined up for that fantastic Aldershot heat again. We'll leave you with that footage and hope to see you soon.
So away they go then. Takes it up. 23 then, Aaron Dew leading this one for the moment. As we have a red. Restart grid order exactly the same as it was, and we just put those tyres back. The tyres, unfortunately, just straight onto the raceway on turn 1 there. So this 35 lap race we didn't want to see with anybody colliding with the tyres in the opening laps. So hopefully we'll get those tyres back to where they're supposed to be and have a complete restart. So the cars should be back into the exact grid positions that they occupied just a few moments ago, and will be up and racing once again. Well, away they go for the second time. And once again it is the 23 car that forges ahead. Aaron Dew then in the 23 machine. Comes through to peel off the first lap. Into second place, settles the 92 car. And behind these it's 136, who was the sitting to the outside of our Porsche. So a retirement then from the 69 machine of Lance Bowen. Into the safety of the centre green he goes. And the 23 car and the 92 machine begin to pull away from the rest of the pack. So through they go once again. 111 then. Mark Baines at the tail end of the races in the 111 car. 23 though. Leading this one, certainly got the hammer well down. 23 and 92. The 111 car will hopefully keep out of the way of the racers as they come through. Treble 1 car being asked to retire. It's a technical retirement for him. Jason Q now finds his way up into third position in the 174 car. And he's hotly pursued by the Colin Barrett machine, 162, in fourth position. And then the 17 car of the world champion, Rob McDonald, is currently lying in fifth place with a very nice looking gold roof on the car. But it's 23, Dom dominating this one for the moment at least. Aaron Dew looking good in the silver and orange car as he goes through to peel off another lap. And currently the 92 car of Jack Blood is the man looking to perhaps not be quite as fast as the third, fourth and fifth place cars in that second place, but certainly giving every encouragement to Aaron Dew in car 23, who's beginning to leave the rest of the pack. But the 92 car goes wide and allows 174, 162 and car 17 all through on the inside. So there's our race leader peeling off another lap. Some of the back marking cars now begin to loom up ahead. So our start marshal will begin to issue the blue flag to some of these cars now, just to tell them that the faster cars are coming up from behind and hopefully relinquish their position on track to allow the faster cars to come through. Certainly Jason Q making the best of his second place at the moment, with Carl Waller-Barrett not too far behind in third, and the current world champion Rob McDonald in fourth place. So it will be halfway next time through, Mr. Starter, halfway to go for the next time through for the 23 car, and that's missed now, so don't bother with that. 23 then continues on his way, making his way through the back markers. Through they go once again, and it's still the same leader there, the 23 car, Aaron Dew, looking very good for this one, making his way determinedly through the back markers in that 23 car. And second man at the moment is the black and white car with the green stripe on the side. That's Jason Q, the current European champion. Behind Jason we've got the 162 car of Carl Waller-Barrett, and then the world champion in the 17 machine, Rob McDonald. Is there anything these cars could do to get on terms then with our front runner, who's certainly taken this race by the scruff of the neck, and Aaron Dew looking very, very good. Oh, and there's a blow up in the 42 car for Shane Bland, and Shane Bland is, I think that's tyre smoke coming off of the near side rear tyre. Shane continues to go, but he's right up ahead of our front-running leader in the race at the moment. And surely that tyre is going to blow in the not too far distant future as Shane Black tries to continue with it. Our race leader finds his way through on the inside of Shane Bland. But I think it will be a technical disqualification sooner or later then for Shane Bland in the 42 car. Hard lines on him, but there he is. At least he's made the safety of the infield. And that has now brought Jason Q up to within striking distance of our front-running Aaron Dew. It's Aaron Dew in the 23 car, the 174 machine of Jason Q there in second place. Still Carl Waller-Barrett in third position in 162, and Rob McDonald in 17 in fourth place. Through they come once again, to peel off another lap. So the 42 car then is back out on the raceway now, but there we are, it's 23 who tucks in ahead of him, and 174 continues on his way in second place, and it's a much closer second place at the moment for Jason Q. But certainly not able to make an overtaking manoeuvre. It will be 5 to go, Mr. Starter. 5 to go for our race leader in the 23 car, Aaron Dew. It's Aaron Dew and Jason Q, then Carl Waller-Barrett, and still Rob McDonald in fourth position. Rob McDonald now looking to overtake the Carl Waller-Barrett machine, and a bit of a nudge there for Carl Waller-Barrett, who resolutely stays in position. But Rob McDonald now beginning to get a little bit impatient. Still the race leader, 23, Aaron Dew, continues McDonald, but we're into the last lap of racing and it's all looking very good indeed for Aaron Dew, who certainly made the best of that pole start, pole the start. There he is, from green flag to checkered flag. It's a win for Aaron Dew in the 23 car. 174 then, Jason Q in second place, and maintaining his third position still, the 162 car of Carl Waller-Barra. Nothing about it that the world champion Rob McDonald could do in 17, home and dry in fourth place. The rest of the cars come home for their respective